And hello, everybody. Good evening, and good evening. Welcome back to Trailblazers Radio. Matter of fact, more importantly, welcome to the Author's Alley. I am your host, Mr. Frederick Beatty, and I thank you guys so very much for tuning into us. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here with us, and you're rocking out with us, and I appreciate that so very much. So, first and foremost, I just want to just reiterate the purpose of this particular radio station or this particular podcast platform. First of all, we are a podcast platform that we entertain, we educate, and we also edify. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is by when we entertain people with great content, great guests, and also great topics. We educate. We try to give people the tools that they need to try to get to where they need to be in life, but also we try to give people knowledge that they can use to help not only to help themselves but also help future generations. We also edify. What do I mean by that? We try to give deference to those people who who came before us. And what I mean by that is that there are people that were doing what we're doing long before we ever stepped in front of a camera or in front of a microphone. I always give deference to those people, but I also give deference to people who, such as the two gentlemen that are here are with me tonight. I also give deference to people who I know I can personally learn from. So that's what I mean when we entertain, we educate, and we edify. So, but I also want to thank you guys for liking and sharing our content. Also, commenting on our content. It means the world to us. Um, Thank you so much for supporting myself, Miss Barbara Melvin, Quet Jones, and also Coco Fenton. We are so glad that you guys continue to support our content and continue to support us, not only as a podcast platform, but also as individuals as well. And that doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you guys very much for that. And I also thank you guys for continuing to like and follow us on our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Instagram. Thank you guys for following us on our social media platforms. We most definitely love the support and the engagement that you give us there as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And also to let you guys know that this particular show is proudly sponsored by My Life Has Destinies Ministries. My sister Quint Jones has a fantastic ministry that I want you guys to tap into. Most definitely tap into that, and also get in contact with her if you want to learn more about My Life Has Destiny Ministries. So thank you guys for doing that. So without without further ado, and without anything else being said, I want to just jump right into the crux of our interview. The two gentlemen that I have arrayed with me tonight. Um, we met over Clubhouse, and we talked quite a bit about, talking about what they have going on and what they're doing currently. And not only was I intrigued to talk to these guys, to listen to these guys and talk to these guys, but I was also intrigued to have them on to the platform just to talk a little bit about what they do and a little bit why they do what they do, and also the purpose and the purpose of what they do. So without any further ado, I want to introduce the two gentlemen that I have here. The first gentleman that I'm going to introduce is Mr. William Meeryeck. He is the author of We the People. The second gentleman that I have down to the bottom here is Mr. TC MacNevin. He is the administrator of the We the People website, and we're going to have a nice little conversation about the book, the website, and everything else that goes in between that. So, gentlemen, how are you guys?
Thanks,
Doing good.
Frederick. Good.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Frederick.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, if you guys don't mind, I want to kind of like kind of get you guys a tag team on like
Uh,
what the things that I asked you, because I know both of these things are interconnected. So
mhm.
I'll start with you, William.
Yeah.
What just from looking at the promotional
And,
video from the for your book,
mhm.
what was it? What compelled you to write something like this?
Well, I'll tell you. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you for having me on. And I just want to let you know that I agree with a lot of the things you say. But especially what struck a nerve with me is how when we cooperate, when human beings cooperate and work together, so much can be done. instead of fighting and competing and cooperating is unbelievable. Even just a handful of people cooperating is so useful. It can do so many things. And your second thing that really resonates is to always remember the people that came before us, that opened the doors for us. It's like, oh, I did this all myself. No, no, no. You got from the caveman all the way to today, all these people adding up did so many things for us, and we should remember that. Anyway, getting back to your question, okay, I had cancer about 10 years ago. I was in the hospital for quite a while, maybe 6 months. And I was thinking, oh, the political atmosphere was terrible at that time. And I could see our country had been going downhill for like, I don't know, since I was a teenager, downhill a little bit. You can never really see it, just like you can't see the changes in your face in the mirror every day because you see it every day. But when you look at it, or a picture of me 20 years ago, a picture of me today, I look different. So I've been noticing how our country has been going down, down, down. And I blame most of it, I blame on politics, on the political leaders. I mean, they're the ones who guide our country. That's why they're called leaders. But anyway, I started thinking about what can be done. It's useless. I always say, useless. What can you do? Finally, I'm in a hospital thinking, and it comes to me out of nowhere. There is something you can do. Again, people cooperating together, right? To hell with the leaders. Let's all cooperate and get something that we want that's fair to all of us, that includes all of us. The hell with the rich guys. The hell with them and their stupid uh, tax rates that are like 0, 2%. Let's figure out something we could all do together. And that was the birth of the book.
Wow. And so basically the birth of the book came from you suffering from a condition and
Uh,
then and also
yeah.
kind of getting tired of how that condition kind of played into the political landscape of things, right?
Yeah, and then the other sense of uselessness. Nothing you can do. It's like it's a rigged game, and what the heck can I do about it? Nothing. And then I started thinking, well, what if everybody started doing? You could do something, right? Like if everybody chipped in, even a few dollars, right? We could amass a whole. You know how much in this country we have 300 and what close to 350 million. If everybody gave $1, that's like $350 million right there. Boom. So imagine if people gave $10 or 15 or 20 or whatever they could afford. You could have a huge war chest and you could support politicians who are part of you, right? That you could weed out. Say these are people that could do what we want them to do. Of course, you got to do a lot of screening, right? But
Of
just
course.
just imagine what you can do with that kind of money if everybody chipped in just a little and cooperated. And that's how the birth of it came. And then we get a website where everybody can go, a little bit of a secret website. And then you could go in and there would be proposals. Everybody would you could make proposals and then you could vote. And it's a true democracy, more like a referendum. Everybody votes on some, and if they get enough votes, it gets done with the money that's in the group. Oh, it's We the People Inc. By the way, we incorporate. We the People create an entity called We the People Inc. So I thought that was like the minute I heard that, I go, oh, that's such a nice title. We the People Inc. And nobody ever thought of that before.
Mm.
So
So
that's where that came from. Yeah.
so TC, so how did you come across meeting Mr. William here?
I was lucky enough to know him since I was a kid. He's my uncle.
Family.
Yeah.
Love it.
Um, yeah. So on that note, some of these ideas he put them together in his time of stress there, but I can confirm he's had these free spirited ideas as long as I can remember. Um, and yeah, he wrote his story back about what 10 years ago, Bill.
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
yeah 2013 I think.
I think that was it. Yeah.
And probably about 2 years ago, you turned to the short story, began the process of making it into a full novel. Actually, yeah. So I'll give a little plug to my writers club, Joe's Writers Club, and Bill had been interested in what we were doing, and that kind of motivated him to take his short story and turn it into a full length novel. And so, yeah, thanks to Joe and Ricky for inspiring me, and then rekindling Bill's passion and taking his story and now more than ever, that story needs to be told. So, We the
Indeed.
People Inc.'s coming out on July 4th, and the website's out, and you can sign up right now at wethepeopleinc.com, which is the website from the book. So we didn't really get into the book too much yet, but what we did was we tried to build the website from inspired from what the website and the story was able to do.
That's what's up. I like that, man. I like that. So and I do want. It's a good thing It's a good thing you said that because I do want to segue into that right now. So William, without giving away too much of the plot and the story, what is this story centered on, and what do you want your readers? What do you want the readers to glean from this when they get to the last page?
That's an awfully good question, Frederick. I would hope that they get a little bit inspired to see that things can get done. You're not stuck, even though the game is rigged, even though things are against you. It looks like hopeless situation. there's there are ways. There's always where there's a will, there's a way, right? The old saying. And when there's life, there's hope. So there's always chance for something to improve. You can improve, even if it's only a tiny bit around you every day. You can start by improving, and so that's just like a little bit inspirational. And not only that, but more specifically, when it comes to our leaders and our government, and in that regard, that there are things that can be done, like maybe a third party or a fourth party even. Why are we stuck with clown A and clown B? I don't understand. I never understood that. Clown A and clown B. What choice is that? And people tell me, hey, you didn't vote. It's your fault. And I say, no, it's your fault. You voted for that clown. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for anybody. You voted for the clown. It's your fault. So I mean, you got you got to do something about this system. It's no good. Clown A, clown. It's too, and it's rigged. So and and then one guy did try, right? But I'm talking about the guy from Vermont. He tried, but you see what happened to him.
Yep.
A good old bunny.
And for those who don't know, when he says when Mr. Williams says clown A and clown B, for those who are not aware, clown A means Republicans, clown B means Democrats. That's what he means by that. I hope I'm interpreting that correctly.
Oh, absolutely. You're right on.
So that's what he means by clown A and clown B. So and I most definitely agree with that. We the way I've looked at it, and I've looked at it for quite some time. You have left wing, you got right wing. They're both the same. They're both two wings of the same bird,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna work in concert with each other. However, they have to work in concert with each other to be able to fly. So I mean, you're not you're pretty much and I'm not trying to say this to be a misnomer or anything like that to anybody, but when you vote, you're voting for pretty much the same bird, just voting for a different wing of the bird.
There you go.
So
Absolutely. And they serve the same master. Don't kid yourself. They serve the same master.
indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
So how was the writing process for you? I mean, you decided to take this journey as an author, um,
Mhm.
at a much more advanced age than most authors
Oh yeah,
would start
absolutely.
writing.
I had no idea. I just because I was in a hospital for so long, I got bored, and maybe there weren't enough cute nurses. I don't know. So I decided to start writing. And of course, in the beginning, it was just an outline. I'm jotting down my thoughts, my outline. I had a very nice outline. And then for years it went by. And then TC told me about Joe Writers Club. And I said, oh, I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work. But, I tried it and it wasn't. It was more fun than anything. And I got to say, if it wasn't for Joe Writers Club, it wouldn't have happened. So got to give credit to those guys, TC and his guys, his crew. Wouldn't have done it without him. So that's that's how that eventually became a whole book, as opposed to a short outline, which had substance, but it was kind of too short.
Right.
It was a skeleton that needed some meat on its bones.
Indeed. So, and now that your writing journey is complete, now that particular writing journey is complete, and now you know that this is going to be something that's going to be a bona fide release.
Mhm.
Tell me how that feels now that you have something that's going to be helpful to people when they pick it up and read it from cover to cover. How does that feel to be able to have something that's going to be tangible?
Well, first of all, I'm hoping that it does take off. It's like you build this beautiful kite and you have string on it and you let it go into the wind and you hope that kite flies.
Indeed.
You need a breeze, right? You need a nice breeze. And then the kite may fly and soar like an eagle, or it could fall, crash and burn. So I'm hoping that it will take off. I hope that people read it, maybe by word of mouth. People say, "Oh, this is a great story. Why didn't somebody think of this before?" That kind of thing. And maybe enough word of mouth, enough podcasts, enough people hearing about it. Uh, if people do get to read it, that's all. That's all I care about. That they have the idea, and maybe they get a little bit inspired to do something about it. That's it.
Indeed. I like that, William. I really do.
Mhm.
So, and then you mentioned that TC played a role in this. So, TC, what was your role in this besides just, you know, helping push the vision along?
Oh yeah. So first, yeah, I want to say, we were privileged. A few of us in the group um, at Joe's Writers Club. We usually take turns reading each other's stories, and then break into separate groups where some people really focus on beta reading. So we got to read chapter by chapter as the full. Actually, we started by understanding the full story. So, or no, some of us did, some of us didn't. Yeah. So I had read the short story first. I kind of knew what to expect, but then, believe me, I was still surprised by the time all the full chapters were out, and just the feelings that it gives you when you're reading it. And then the story, the overall story wasn't changed, but the detail that was added to it was extraordinary. So I can contest that it's a really great novel. Um, so much so, in fact, that I basically insisted, and Bill didn't fight me too hard on it, to really build the website from the book. So I put together the website. It's a decentralized political action committee, We the People Inc. And yeah, we're trying to make the successes that were in the book come into our real everyday life.
Got it. And I like that. And just to kind of talk a little bit about the website that you guys built from the book. Now, you did say that it was a pack, right? That you made it into like a political action committee, correct?
Yeah, that's one aspect. The book focuses a lot on individual initiatives. And the website will as well, but it's ultimately up to the members whether they want to spend the money in donations to certain political campaigns, or I'm of the opinion that we should, a lot of that stuff can be done privately. Certain things politicians need to take care of, but many of the things that they do, I think we could probably do more efficiently just building it ourselves.
I would agree with that. I
Mhm.
really would. I mean, the fundraising that these guys do is I'm gonna say tremendous, but also wasteful to me at the same time. Why are you raising all this money for, you're just trying to get people to come out and vote for you? I mean, why do you need X amount of dollars? I mean, I understand that it costs money to run a campaign. I trust me, I believe that. So the operating costs can skyrocket. I get that. But do you really need in excess of several $1 million to run a campaign when you could probably do that for pennies on the dollar? Just a thought process of mine.
Yeah. Once We the People Inc.'s running at full scale, I'd say any of our Congress people that are having trouble getting their bill through, why don't you present it to We the People Inc. and we'll make it happen for you.
It's a
You
good
know
one.
what? I like that. Now,
Yeah.
do you once their website's up and running, do you is it something that you would encourage that if they're looking to kind of brave if especially when it comes to people, the one thing I like about when we as human beings band together, when we actually decide to take decisive action on something, we actually go out and do it. Now, when it comes to those types of things, what do you encourage people to introduce those type of ideas, whether is it interdependent on you know certain ideals, or does it not matter about ideals as far as that's concerned? And the reason I asked that question because I know in this this particular dispensation that we live in right now, um
Mm.
a lot of things are socially, politically, and at times, and I know this may be a prickly subject for people, the folks that are listening to us or watching us. Things are socially, politically, and at times racially charged. And when it comes to those things, there's a grand divide between that. So do you? And the reason I'm asking is because I know that a lot of us as human beings don't always come together when it comes to those three things. You know,
Mm.
social divide, political divide, and racial divide, because those things are so prevalent in our society right now. Do you encourage people? Would you encourage constituents or people that come to the website to kind of put together proposals that kind of transcend those three things?
Yeah, well, I would encourage people to, well, first of all, there's structures in place where we incentivize quality over quantity because
Right,
of the governance system with the decentralized organization. You have a certain amount of when it will be operating. I'm sorry, so the full tokenization isn't happening until 2024. We In the meantime, this whole year is to bring the discussions to the table. It's all about the discussions, right? So once we do get into actually making propositions, there will be a limited number of propositions that you'll have to choose wisely, right?
right,
So it's going to be well thought out, hopefully, and then your support for every proposition is also limited. There's a fixed amount of governance tokens that you can spend, even to make a comment, right? So they get refreshed. You're not needing to spend it, but you have a monthly allowance of comments that you can make. So you're going to pick and choose your words well. Um, and yeah, I encourage people to be honest and um, let's try to have a real dialogue where we can come to an agreement on what the best course of action is, with the issues at heart, and the solutions that hopefully a lot of them will be able to achieve even without using the funding, right? Just purely through communication and organization.
most definitely, and I think that you know real solutions should come from the people who are in the trenches. you, me, William, and a
Mhm.
host of other people. We're the ones that's here on the battle line. You know, as we all know, the politicians are the ones that sit up on high and do the pointing and clicking, or mostly the pointing,
Yeah.
or not so much. But we're the ones that's on the battle lines, and we're the ones that's on the front lines on a daily basis. So I think a lot of the governance should come from the people that are here, that are literally that are literally in the mud and excuse my French, in the shit every day. But and again, like William said earlier, a lot of politicians like to do pointing and clicking and not necessarily take decisive action for anything, or they like to take credit for someone else's
Oh
action.
yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Frederick, I think that was very inspiring what you said a few minutes ago. And I wish I had gotten a little bit, now that you say, I wish I had gotten a little bit more of that into the book, because I think it is very inspiring. But I sort of, and I'm hoping it's understood that when people working together, you can't be looking at male, female, rich, poor, white, black. You just got to look at other human beings. But maybe I should have, I wish I had stressed that a little bit harder or a little bit more, put it that way. But, it does mention people working together. And, you can't have that with, if you have a lot of racism, sexism, monetary thing, rich, poor,
Exactly.
so in a sense, I got into it, but we're not specifically. I'm hoping people understand that the only way people can work together is to sort of let those things go. I hope people understand that, but that's my dream anyway.
Certain messages don't have to be relayed to be
I hope
understood.
I hope you're right, Fred. I hope you're right, Frederick.
I mean, and I look at it like this: if you have to clarify it, I mean, then that's fine. I mean, to me, and as an author myself, sometimes you have to clarify,
Mhm.
your messaging and what you write, because some people will look at it one way, but will never look at it from the exact opposite. So some people will
Mhm.
look at it like, well, geez, this is just kind of centralized, and when the actual intent is to get when you and see when a lot of people say when folks say people, they tend to put the race thing behind it. White people, black people,
Right.
Pacific Island. No, people represents everybody, represents every ethnic group, every race,
There you go.
every tribe, whatever. People represents all of us,
There you go.
because
Absolutely.
regardless of whether we're at the top, we're at the bottom, or at the middle, or trying to get to a specific destination, we're all people.
Right.
First and foremost, we're human beings first,
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
and we all command the respect that human beings deserve first and foremost. And I think that's one thing that is kind of lost here. Well, I won't say in this generation. I think as the generations have gone by, I think there's a deep seated loss of respect for just us as human beings. Period. And
Mhm.
I won't say it's disheartening, but I will say that it is alarming to me,
Mhm.
at least to me, especially from the lens that I look at it from.
The good news, Frederick, is we now have tools that we never had before. We can address millions and millions of people all at once with this internet, with the thing you're doing right here. And we never had that before. That's the good news. That's the beacon of hope that we can all see, that the internet can actually reach millions, if not billions of people, and somehow get these ideas across. And to tell you the truth, as far as I'm concerned, on the things we've been talking about, these are like natural, common sense things. These are not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to agree to this. This is like a child would agree to this, right? A child with no knowledge of physics would say, you're right. We're all brothers and sisters. What do we got to fight for? A child would go along with that. And when as we get older, we lose that. We lose that. It's like what's that old saying? Uh, it's not
Childlike
racism.
innocence.
Oh no, something like this has to be very carefully taught to children. I think it's racism or
Uh,
discrimination. That has to be taught very carefully to children because they're not. Children are not racists when they're born. They, kids of all races play with each other. Nobody says anything until their parents teach them otherwise. So, so as long if we can get parents not to do that, we'd have a much better world. And we now have the tools, like right here. It's the great start. So,
right, right.
I will say, regarding in the book, one of the key aspects, and hopefully this translates into real life, are individual talents, and cooperating. And some people are strong technically, others are strong with compassion, others obviously are professionals in the medical industry, and we all have our areas of expertise. And if we can harness that power and coordinate, um, there's a lot we can do together, in society.
I agree. I agree. The spirit of cooperation should always rule the day, and and it's not and for me that's just not a saying or not something that I just blurted out just because I wanted to blurt it out. It's something that I actually believe that I truly believe in. You know,
mhm,
we are we all have a shortcoming at one thing or another, and we all rely we all at some point or another rely on someone else to help us trying to get through a difficult part of our day or to achieve a goal. There's cooperation in that. There's camaraderie in that. You
mhm,
know there's friendship building in that. And I
mhm.
think a lot of people think that co you guys might agree with me or you may not. A lot of people think that cooperation is competition, and honestly it's not.
It's the opposite, right? Basically, but you can actually compete in a very cooperative manner. As long as you remember that the other guy is trying to do his best, and you can learn from him, and he can learn from you, and eventually even though one guy may win, then you could share the idea, and then all of humanity gets stronger that way, and that's how we've gotten stronger over the years. The guy who invented fire didn't just keep it to himself, right? He shared it with everybody. And
Yeah.
in the end, as a species, if we hadn't shared stuff, we'd still be scared of whatever, lions and tigers, whatever. But because we shared knowledge with each other, is what how we got to where we are. So we have to remember that. We have to remember all the people, like you said, who came before us, who shared knowledge with us, and that's why books are so important too. And although internet's sort of replacing, but books are still very important because that's how you get the message out. Part of the way you get the message out. That and that sharing knowledge eventually benefits us all. And even science has proven that. Even game theory has proven that when you share as opposed to strictly going out for blood, you have ultimate goals are better, right? When you do the math, the goals, everybody is better off that way. So what do you got to lose?
Not much. Not
not
much.
not much is right, but so and everything to gain, right? So
Most definitely. I mean, it's a win-win situation.
exactly, my feelings exactly. Yeah.
I really do love what you guys are were doing as far as like the book William and the website TC. It's so I think that it's gonna be a much needed breath of fresh air because and this is just a personal opinion of mine. You know, this is the political sense. Landscape is so oversaturated, and it's I don't know. It's more, and you guys could probably will most definitely probably agree with this. Is everybody's more about party. You know, either you're red or you're blue, or either you're Democrat or you're Republican, either you're the elephant or you're the donkey. And I, the way I look at that is like, I'm me personally, like, that's ridiculous. Why would you commit? And I understand the reasons why some people do this, why most people do this. They commit themselves to one party, and that's who they roll with. Or they'll do it because that's what their parents were. My parents were Democrats, so I'm rolling that way. My uncle was a Republican, or they may resonate with a specific person. And again, all those things are well and good. But what happens when party doesn't serve the people?
Yeah, well, I think, Frederick, a lot of times people look at the ideology of a party and say, yeah, I can relate to that. Like the ideology of Democrats is to be more socially inclusive, to be more for poor people, to be more for income, to be against income inequality. And Republicans, you could say they're more conservative. They don't want to waste money. They want to have a strong military, a strong defense. All these things are good. But do they follow their ideology? Do Democrats actually follow what they profess to be? Do Republicans follow what they? No. These
Nope.
people, they don't follow their ideology at all. So you say, oh, I'm for a Republican. Yeah, big deal. You're for a Republican ideology. They don't do what they claim they're going to do. Same thing with Democrats. They don't claim they're not friends to minorities. They do things that hurt minorities more than anybody. So I don't know. That's why I'm so perplexed with the political system. And I only have one answer to your questions why this happens. This is no accident. This is divide and conquer, right? You take our nation, you divide them into red and blue, and then you conquer both of them. And that's all there is to it. If you let people do their own thing and hire the leaders they wanted, we'd be so much better off. But no, let's divide them into red and blue. That's how you conquer. Divide and conquer. That's all there is to that.
That's true. What's your take on that, TC?
Yeah, I could agree with a lot of that, but I'm pragmatic in the sense that I say let's get on We the People Inc. and we have a forum for every congressional committee, so we can have these discussions ourselves. And once we, have our opinions all thought out very well and nice there, we can send them out to our representatives and say, well, our membership here thinks that this is the solution, and we're going to be working on this. If you want to chip in with us, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, do you have any feedback on this thought? Why don't you join and participate in the conversation?
Got you. I got you on that. And just an additional follow-up question for you, TC. How in and I'm pretty sure this is probably will probably vary based upon what you guys are doing. But how important what's the important rate the importance of having a congressional leader, or you know on board with a proposal that you guys have? Is it very important or not so much important?
Well, yeah, our representatives are supposed to be making legislation on behalf of their constituents. So if they should be making polls and doing these things to realize what the true intentions and wishes of their constituents are. But if we have enough verified data that says this is what your voters think you should be doing, I think they're going to have to appease those wishes.
Indeed, you got you got enough people. You got enough people at the front gates. You eventually got to open them. So, And the one thing I like about the way you mentioned the website is because it's an open forum for people to put opinions out there, but also to kind of put facts out there as well. But it's also
Hmm.
a way to get people to get a call to action and to really speak up about what goes on in their cities, in their states, in their counties, in their parishes, however they name them these days. Um, and I think it's really a great call to action to get people involved in what goes on in their little slice of America. And I think and I really do believe this for you guys. The more people, when those people come and they have that call to action, I think it will. I truly believe that it can and will, you know, move people. It'll get people to consider things, put things in a different perspective, and that's the one underlying tone that I was thinking about when I was, kind of just when we were talking, I was thinking about something to talk to you guys about, the perspective part of it. You want to put people and you want to give people wide a widescreen view of everything, not just the tunnel vision part of it. You want people to see everything from the widest possible view. And I love that about how and I love the aspect that the website and the book will bring, because I think we as human beings don't look at things in the widescreen view because we're so focused on our own little piece of the world that we can't see everything else around us. And I
Hmm.
love the simple fact that you guys are bringing, or that I love the simple fact that you guys are bringing about that perspective to it, because it will force people to look at things in a much wider prism.
Yep. That
Yeah. Different
that
viewpoints coming together gives us a perspective that no individual can have on their own.
Most definitely, and again, it all comes it's all birthed from the spirit of cooperation and camaraderie, and I love that. It's to me it's a breath of fresh air, because I've talked a lot about stuff like that for a while, since I started way before I even started podcasting. I just didn't really necessarily make it known like that. But then when I started podcasting, that was like kind of the other part of it. But again, a book and then an accompanying website to kind of break it down even further. And then not only the book gives a call to your, I'm pretty sure that your book, William, gives a call to action, but also that website, enhances and increases that call to action. So now, okay, now you read the book and now you're inspired to do something. Okay, go to this website and spark a discussion. Talk with other people, whether they're like minded or not like minded.
Mm.
Just talk to other people, and let's see what we can do cooperatively and
Yeah.
collaboratively. Um, I really like the synergy between. I'm really loving the synergy between those two, because I think they're gonna play so well together, because once people read, they're like, well, and they're gonna ask the question, well, what can I do?
Mm.
Oh, website. Let's go there. Let's talk. Let's discuss. Let's chat. Let's talk about it. You know. Now you did mention that it was gonna. You said now it's gonna be tokenized, so that means people are gonna be able to use a token to have either put a comment there, or maybe present a proposal. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And I will say, first of all, that we're doing this in the standard Web 2 forum kind of way for this next year while we're discussing which issues are most important. And you can subscribe for free. If you actually order the book, you'll get an honorary membership, which gives you all the same privileges of discussing and putting your ideas out there, having a little bit of investment in there, making sure that it's not just spammers. If you care enough to order the book, you'll care enough to be kind when you comment, I would assume. And but the full membership with voting, there is a membership fee, and because that's where we'll be deciding to spend the money in the trust for enacting propositions that members develop and vote on.
Man, I love it. I actually love it. It's again, I keep saying this, but it's so true that it is a breath of fresh air to and and I mean to get away from the I will like this the same old jargon, the same old speeches, the same old I'm for this, I'm for that type of thing. And I like that because it again, and I keep saying this because I truly feel this in my spirit that the people will come and and cooperate and will collaborate and they will, you know, come together and talk about things that are important to them, and I think this will be something that will offer not only offer a differing of opinions and things of that nature, but I think it will also just be able to pull people in and really realize and understand that, you know, even there's a small voice that they have could could speak large volumes in the landscape that the landscape that we live that we currently inhabit. And I love the simple fact that that you guys are literally gonna be empowering people to do that.
I'm excited for it, and yeah, I thank Bill for figuring out the whole thing in novel form, and um, it's something that I've been searching for a while too, and then seeing his words on the page made me try to translate them onto the screen, um, and I hope I did it justice. So
Oh,
um,
pretty sure you did, my friend. I'm pretty sure you did.
Oh yeah.
I
What
hope we all
happened?
do it justice, I
Of
guess.
course, of course. But I want to
Yeah.
ask you guys something collectively. So when it comes to this thing, this thing that you guys have put together collectively and collaboratively, what is the feeling that you guys have right now in anticipation of this, knowing that this could be something that could literally be that spark that spark that could bring about the type of change that we as individuals, we as Americans want. How do what's the feel what's that feeling like right now?
Well, I'll go first. I'll say for me, I guess it's cautiously optimistic. I hope people read it. Number one, and I do think if people do read it, they will get inspired and will say, "Boy, I didn't realize it could be that simple." And wow, that makes sense. Why didn't I think of this? That kind of a moment, aha moment, and you say,
Mm.
wow. And then you know this I wouldn't even take credit for that. I would just say this is a human thought that is part of human consciousness. It's just that we don't think of it because we figure you get so beaten down by reality, right? Reality beats down everybody, unless you're all the way on top of the pyramid, right? It beats down on you. And you don't have time. You don't have time to think about, well, how am I going to improve this? But if you think about it, there are many, many ways to improve things, especially when we cooperate and we forget about hatred and we forget about beating the other guy out and we think about, well, what can we do that can make everybody better off, and then you'll be amazed at what can be done. And that's all I hope, just to spark that and then let that baby light on fire. That's all I
Man,
hope.
wow, I love that, William. I love that. What's your take? What do you think about that, TC?
Um, I think through the discussion, dialogues, like in the book, the characters had their own kinds of dialogues, and I think when we start to have our own dialogues, um, we all don't have to agree on the same thing to make little changes in each other's life. Even subsets of groups can come together and agree to do something for their own neighborhood. So that on its own could be helpful on larger issues. I think if we focus on solutions, even if we can't solve a problem all on its own, bringing awareness to the problem and the dialogues around it help. You know, and then yeah, hopefully our government does their part and chips in. So I think we have to set a good example for our own leaders at this point.
That's a good one.
I love that because that's something that just resonated with me so much. You know, you want your leaders to be that, but sometimes it takes the people to do it takes the opposite thing. The people to be the inspiration for the leaders, and I love that so much. That's something that I resonate with so much. And when the moment you said that, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I get that's like that light bulb that went off on my head. Yeah, I get it now. So I like that. And again, like I mentioned earlier before in the podcast, it's about learning something from someone else. And just for you guys being here and being your presence here, I learned I learned so much within only in less than an hour, and for me that's wonderful. I love that because it's it's not often that you come across people who they're like-minded people, not just the three of us that's arrayed here. They're like-minded people who think along the same lines as we do. It's just that therefore they're few and far between, and we have to get all those like-minded people, or those people who, or even those people who have differing of opinion, all in the same place.
Mhm.
And like you said earlier, TC, let's have a discussion. Let's put something out there. Let's put this to the table and let's speak about it. If it's something that we can run, we can do, we'll do it. If it's not, then we'll further discuss it and see and come back to it and see how viable it is. And the one thing that I did that I thought about, but I didn't necessarily mention is
Hmm.
you guys are literally creating viable solutions. You know, I know when that book comes out on July 4th, I know that I know I'm probably want to get my hands on it and then check out the website even further just to peruse and choose. So I most definitely want to get my hands on that book, Mr. William. I really do, because I think if more people, think about cooperation and collaboration and just look at each other as just human beings instead of just beyond beyond the esoteric, beyond
Hmm.
what they see. I think
Mhm.
this nation and probably this world will be a much better place. But until that happens, I think I think all three of us kind of know what that means, and what we still have to deal, what we all either individually or collectively have to deal with until that happens. So
Yep.
that's kind of sort of a thought process that I had. But I'm so liking just the idea of cooperation and collaboration and camaraderie is something that brings about hope for me.
Mhm.
And I'm like you, Mr. William. In certain things, when it comes to that, I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But at the same time, also also quite cynical when it comes to certain things. You know,
Oh,
I'm
no
I'm
doubt.
looking to I'm looking to broad I'm looking to look at things from a much larger perspective as well, though.
Right, right.
So
Well, I
looking
think
at.
I think.
I'm most definitely want to do. I'm most definitely going to pick up that book, Mr. William, and read
Oh,
it
I
from cover to
appreciate
cover.
I appreciate that. But I would like to say that sometimes it's when everything is working against us that forces us to look at something else, right? Otherwise, maybe we won't. So in a way, maybe it's a good thing that all these things are working against us to make us think, well, what the heck can we do to get over this? There's gotta be a way, right? Gotta be a way.
Oh yeah, we have to find we have to find a way. Most
Mhm.
definitely have to find a way, and I think if we don't find a way soon, I think a lot of things are just gonna go downhill,
Mhm.
and then I think we as a nation will probably get to a point to where
Mhm.
it could be it'll either be irreparable or irrecoverable,
Mhm.
and
That's
I,
that's
and
the
then
trajectory we're on. So we better get off that trajectory and soon and fast. Yeah, because
indeed,
after a while, after a while, you fly this way so much, there's not much hope left. You're going down. So you got to do something to sort of shift that course a little bit. And sometimes all it needs is a little bit of a shift, right? And
right,
you're at a different angle, and you'll be totally different place 100 years from now, right? You just need a little tweak.
of course, I
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
So, and so the one thing that I want to give you guys this particular opportunity because I know we've talked a lot about what what you guys do individually and how you guys came together collectively, but I want to give you guys the opportunity to also to talk a little bit about who you guys are, what you guys do, and also you know talk a little bit about your book, and also about the website. So William, I'm gonna let you go first, and then TC, you can follow up.
Oh, great. Okay. Thanks, Frederick. Well, let me see about me. I'm retired. I worked 40 plus years in the financial world as in the accounting part of it. So I became very good at that. Good at numbers. I'm a math guy. I've always been since I was a kid. That was my thing, numbers, right? They don't lie. I like them. I like things that don't lie.
I love that.
So that's why I was attracted to numbers and I'm good at it. That was nothing. So then I got cancer and I was in the hospital laid up for a while. I came up with this idea, which I probably had all along. I mean, I've always been, why can't we humans work together? And why we get so many things done, but no, no, no. Everybody's got to pull on their own side, right? And no, I want this, I want that, and then that's how we lose, right? We end up pulling each other apart and losing. But why can't we just all get along, as Rodney once said? Why can't we all just get along? But what else is there said about me? That's about it. Married. I have two kids. They're grown up. I'm retired. I have a beautiful wife. She's downstairs, and I have a great nephew who helps me out with things once in a while, and and without his help, this wouldn't have happened. So got to give him credit for that.
Most definitely, most definitely. And go ahead, TC. Now you're up to bat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I have lighting issues over here. They keep flashing on and off. um, I'm actually I didn't make that light bulb, but I am an inventor. So you would have thought that was one of the ones I made. Um, no, I'm an invention consultant, and I work with all different businesses and inventors. And about a couple of years ago, I joined my friend's writers club, Joe's Writers Club, and I've been putting a lot of my time into that. So not only are we publishing, but we're also doing business writing, articles for businesses, and I uh, I run the SEO content writing workshop, uh, and we've onboarded 20 new writers this month. So we're out there, writing blog articles and helping businesses get search engine traffic. and it's
Oh
very
wow.
creative too. So yeah, we're doing the science and the art and putting it together. So
That's what's up. I like that. Now, where can they find you? Where can if people are wanting to kind of be, if they want to have if they have an interest in this, or if they want to kind of
mhm.
find out what you guys are about, where you guys what social sites are you guys on?
For Joe's Writers Club, we're on every site. We actually do our own creative writing live stream on Tuesdays. No, Thursdays. It's Thursdays 7 to 9. No, 7 to 8 Eastern PM. On Twitch, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I think that's it.
Oh wow,
And
Twitch. You guys are on
yeah,
Twitch?
yeah, we do a Twitch. The live stream goes on Twitch on Thursdays. I'm not on that one all the time. It's the format of the show changes. Right now, it's
Got you.
called Story Autopsy is what the current theme is, and they dissect stories so that the members have been working on. It's all original content
Oh
and
wow. So
discussions on people's work live streamed. Yeah, it's pretty
oh I
interesting.
was
And you
wow.
can join our Tuesday meeting if you want to be more private. Sorry to cut you off. If you're a writer and
No.
you want to come to the Tuesday meeting, send a request at joeswritersclub.com/contact, and then we'll get you hooked up.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I would love to do that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
So
no problem.
so before we conclude this particular episode, I mean, I just want to reiterate to everybody. So, first and foremost, it is an honor and a pleasure, number one, to be in such great company and two wonderful guests here are Mr. William Meeryeck and also Mr. TC McNevin. I think it's Tom. It's Tom, right?
TC MacNevin's my my pen name, so that's why you know me that
Ah,
way. Yeah, Tom Nevin's my basically my real name. It's my
gotcha.
nickname, Tom. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
So it's I'm first of all, I'm very honored to be in you guys and your presence, you guys' presence, number one. As I stated earlier, I learned a lot just from talking with you guys today. And but now I also understand the importance of I further understand the importance of collaboration and cooperation and camaraderie. Um, Something for someone like me, that eschewed those c words at first. Now I understand the importance of them and why they are important for us as human beings to be able to progress forward. So I learned something from you guys today. So I want to say thank you for that.
yeah. Thank you, Frederick. Thanks for the venue. Authors Alley is a great resource for the authors and the readers, right? And I'm gonna go back and look at your back catalog and check out
Cool. I
some of the
appreciate that.
older episodes. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Uh,
So, so I want, but
oh
I
yeah, and
also
we
want
might we
to.
might have some more authors for you as well. So
Oh, please.
let us know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would be honored, man. I would look. My eyes lighting up already. I will be honored. Thank you so much. I would be honored for that. Um, but I do want to iterate to our listeners and our viewers that We the People Inc. The book will be available um on July 4th. It's actually releasing on July 4th. Now, is it releasing on Amazon, Mr. William?
You got to talk to the
Oh
publisher.
well. Oh well, Mr. MacNevin. So where's it releasing at?
Yeah. So the Kindle is available for pre-release now. The paperback's available on our website, and it will be coming through Kindle Direct, but also we'll likely be offering it through Ingram Spark to be available at other bookstores. A lot of the small bookstores, especially, deal with that distributor. So we're making our intentions to do that as well.
Okay, so to primarily release on your website first.
Yeah, you can find right. Everything's available through wethepeopleinc.com, including the membership, and Kindle will redirect you to Amazon, but you can order the Kindle today.
Cool. So you guys are taking pre-orders.
Yeah. Pre-orders on the paperback as well. You purchase that through the website. Actually, if you purchase it through the website, it'll automatically give you the honorary membership. So if you bought the paperback through Amazon, it's more tricky to do it that way. If you do get the Kindle, it's a process. You have to send us the receipt to prove that you bought it, and then
Gotcha.
we'll set you up with the honorary membership for that too.
Gotcha. And I'm actually going to put that in the chat. So, so just to reiterate that, so We the People Inc. will be releasing on July 4th. It'll be releasing primarily via the website at wethepeopleinc.com. And if you purchase it through the website, you will get an honorary membership. Now, it is available on pre-order for Kindle, paperback and ebook. However, if you I think however I'm just gonna say this to really just kind of bring it home, especially for those who are interested in wanting to purchase the book. I would strongly advise that you go to the website to purchase the book. And the reason I say that is because that directly helps the author. Those royalties directly help the author. And I'll say this even for any author. If you have a website that you're selling your books on, recommend your readers to go to the website to purchase the book, because that's direct revenue to you. You don't have to worry about a royalty from Kindle or anybody else or whomever. That royalty goes directly to you. So I'm gonna strongly suggest that if you're interested in purchasing this book, go to the website first to purchase it. Because like I said it before, that royalty and those proceeds directly go directly to the author. And everybody knows how this royalty thing works, because yeah, I ain't gonna get into it tonight. That'll be for another. That's a subject for another conversation, and I might do a show about that. But please support your support the author by going directly to the website. Take a gander at the website to tool around, peruse and choose. But most importantly, don't leave that website without purchasing a book. Again, I can't tell you how much reviews and purchasing of a book in your hand. I can't stress the importance of that, especially for an author like me, and also an author like Mr. William, and also someone like Mr. MacNevin, and any other author. It helps us so much. It helps us a lot. It shows that you support us, you support our work, you also support what we write about. And I truly believe that this particular book and this website is going to be that change agent. It's going to be that thing that we need to kind of get things jumping in the right direction. So, I'm strong. I believe in that very strongly, because it's, again, for me, cooperation and collaboration and camaraderie are the key for us to continually move along and get along in this world. And if we don't do that, again, we already in a handbasket. We'll probably, if we don't do those things that we mentioned, we'll probably be going to hell in a handbasket.
There you go. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more, Frederick.
So,
and before we go, I'd just like to say it was an honor being on your program. And I really, more than anything, I enjoyed talking with you. And I find you very inspirational, and you give me hope, which I always could use.
Don't have me crying. Don't have me crying up here, man. Don't have me shedding tears up here, man.
You're an inspiration, and you do give me hope. And I'm so happy to have spent this time with you.
I try, man. I do try. I thank you for that, man. So,
Sure.
ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode of the Author's Alley. Once again, proudly sponsored by My Life Has Destiny Ministries, with my two special guests, Mr. T.C. MacNevin and also Mr. William Meeryeck. I'm sorry.
Good. You got it.
We the People Inc. releasing on July 4th via wethepeopleinc.com. As I stated before, please purchase the book via the website. If you purchase the book via the website, you will get an honorary membership. It is also available for pre-order on the Kindle, paperback, and also ebook. And also check out wethepeopleinc.com. It's we've discussed this or what we discussed is it's a great place for people to just have conversations
Yeah.
about what we can do as just normal human beings to try to make the changes that we see, that we feel that are needed in this nation. Also, and those changes can not only affect a nation, they could also affect the world as a whole. It's just the simple fact of collaboration, camaraderie, and cooperation. So
Mhm.
again, I want to thank my two special guests for being here tonight. I learned something tonight from listening to them and just thinking about things that they were saying. I just want to thank you guys again for just being here and being in the presence and just taking a small little bit of time out of your evening to spend with me. I am honored with that beyond compare. So I want to thank you guys for being here. I thank you so much.
Was my
Thank you,
pleasure.
Frederick.
Okay.
You're welcome. You're most definitely welcome. And as I stated before, that'll conclude this episode of the Author's Alley with me, your host Frederick Beatty. But before we go, I do want to leave you guys with one little tidbit, one little nugget that I want you guys to take home with you as as we're entering into the weekend, and we're also going into the Father's Day weekend, um, also Juneteenth and things of that nature. But the one thing that I want to say is this: cooperation, camaraderie, and collaboration. Three C's. It is important that we enter into the spirit of all three of those words, because we have all seen in this current social, political, and racial climate that we live in, those three words are severely missing, or they're lacking. When we enter into a spirit of cooperation, camaraderie, and collaboration, we come together to face difficult odds. We come together to speak on issues that most people would not speak up on. We come together to make a viable and sustainable change in the world that we live in. When we don't move in that spirit, everything 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 goes to hell. Not only in a handbasket, but it just literally goes to hell. So I want to urge you guys, not only for this weekend, but also not only this day, tomorrow, Sunday, or whatever, but for the remainder of your days, live in the spirit, live and operate in the spirit of cooperation, camaraderie, and collaboration. I promise you, it will take you a long way, and it will also bring about lasting and sustainable change in the world that we live in today. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Make sure you continue to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also follow us on our webcast on our podcast webpage, www.podpage.com/Trailblazers Radio. Also, our audio episodes are uploaded to Anchor every Friday, so you guys can check those out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, wherever you listen to audio podcasts. Also, I am working on a new episode of Unpopular Opinion. I have no idea what the subject matter is going to be, but I guarantee you it's going to be a good one. And once again, I want to thank my two special guests, Mr. TC MacNevin and also Mr. William Meeryeck, for coming on and we're and had a great conversation. Um, as I always like to say with everybody, man, the three things I want to say: number one, take care of each other; number two, love on each other; number three, it is a crazy ass world out here. So please, 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 no matter what you do, please stay safe. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful weekend. And if you are a father if you are a father on this, or if you're a father on this particular podcast, or if you're a father just listening or watching, I want to wish you guys a happy and a very prosperous Father's Day weekend. You guys, thank you so much. Have a great great evening.
Bye.